but as someone who's consuming content and someone who's trying to guard their mind, we have to think about this, understand the content, because that is part of the system. That's how it's now been designed. So, for me, like now, which is coming into the key focus, is that I've now just understood that I just have to shift my thinking from looking at the war as two countries that are fighting or three countries that are fighting, like Iran, US, Israel. But look at it as it's a system, it's a global system. These are the powers of this world, the dark forces that we don't see that have created the system. And now with the corporations, the media outlets, everyone, because some of the things when they start happening, it's not that they're like always, it's weird when you hear people say, oh no, these are bots and these are bots. Like, yeah, sure, there's some bots, but I also believe that there is a level of or- organic response to some claims, because some claims are just so polarized, and different people now, and sort of like, when people call like being radicalized, right? It's sort of like people are polarized in this one corner of the internet, and another group is being polarized, another group in another corner of the internet, and another group in another corner. So it's like these different groups that are like polarized, and they have one belief and they believe it to be true. And the moment that their mind is like fixed on this perspective, they're like, no, that other side or that person, we don't like that person, we're going to go after. It's like it's gang mentality, really, when you think about it. In the real life, you have that. You understand that in the real life. When you come online, people are surprised. They're like, oh, these are bots. Like sometimes those are not bots. Those are real people, but they're part of a gang. Like that's when people say, okay, this person's part of a cult, this. People that are creators, they're creating gangs, whether they realize it or not. They actually like gangs, especially when people have strong opinions, right? So these are like gangs online that are there. And it's chaos. It just ends up being chaos. So that's what breeds the civil war. People are not necessarily going to go out into the streets. Maybe in America, not so much, but maybe they might fight online. But the moment that certain things online, they can't to protest or their voices are not being heard, they're going to go to the streets. So if you see what's happening in America, they're now clamping down a bit more on speech. So the moment that speech is cut down online, their voices are not being heard. Because online, at least they can say what they say, and certain people are incentivized and they're getting paid for doing what they're doing. But the moment more people start saying it, and it just becomes watery and muddy and crazy, and it's like crazy to manage and understand what's going on. They're going to clamp down on the internet. So they'll police the internet first. After they police the internet, guess what those people are going to do? They're going to now go to the streets and protest in the streets. And then when they protest in the streets, what happens? They come and police you in the streets. And then now there's a civil war. So this is all manufactured in the system. It's all manufactured. It's organic, but it's also manufactured organically. Because what happens with our minds, because that's why we always have to guard our minds, is because once we have certain ideas that are put into our minds and they start going in our minds, we end up behaving, because human behavior is predictable. It is predictable. The moment you say something to someone over and over and over and over and over, There are a certain number of times that someone has to hear something for it to take form in their mind. And that person either believes it or takes some form of action towards that idea. So the moment you open, one person saying the same thing, same thing, same thing, they just have to repeat it over and over and over and over and over and over. Because we have so many things that we're trying to figure out in our lives. We're not always able to guard every thought or every single thing that's being said all the time. And maybe it might be an occasional view or something. And the moment you're an occasional person just, coming across information, maybe you hear it the first time, second time, you're going to take it in because that's the first time that you've heard. But you're probably going to think about like, okay, where do I place this in your mind? Like naturally, our minds have to place things in certain places. And if it leaves you with a question, your brain has to close the gap and answer that question somehow. And if there's no reasonable, or the truth is there, if the truth is not there to help you understand, like, okay, is this true or not, or answer that question. If the truth is not there, whatever is presented to you as a reasonable answer to your question, your brain is going to accept that for the time being. Unless the truth comes and replaces that placeholder truth, call it that. Some people go on their whole life without being able to actually undo or remove that thought that they had, or the truth that they held on to, that they thought, the pseudo truth that they thought was the right answer. They'll go on their whole entire life believing that thing because they never got to the real truth. And that's why there's a lot of resistance to people who are considered like conspiracy theorists, where sometimes they're truth tellers that are coming with the truth, but then people have been holding on to some form of pseudo truth that's been told to them by the media. So right now we're exposing how this whole entire system works and how the media works, how influence works. We're exposing all the influences. So you need to really pay attention to the influences. And sometimes let me tell you, it's organic. Sometimes it's also not organic for sure. But also realize that people can be radicalized, and some people love and enjoy the drama because they feel alive. So you have so many different reasons for people to behave the way that they behave. And online, they can't be seen. No one knows them. The person could be someone else that's random that you don't know. And someone could be like and this is the other part, like people in like maybe Pakistan, India, they've understood this and they know what's going on. And they'll pose like they're like some American person and they start commenting on American politics as if they know American politics. And they're like in America. So, so people call them like bots and stuff, but I don't think they're bots, but they're just people who understand the system because it's about the system at the end of the day. It's about how people behave, how people act, how people behave on life. And the moment people understand that, you start pulling back, you start looking like, okay, well, wow, right? Because, yeah, like this is, right now I'm just exposing everything just for you to understand and to help you guard your mind. Because me as a content creator, I've seen how when I say something, and because remember that there's the kingdom of darkness, right? So the moment you say something that triggers the people who are in the kingdom of darkness, they come after you. And it's like, definitely, like, I understand. It's like bots. It's like, what? Where are these people coming from? And I've seen it's when someone who has a big following either retweets or shares your content that just triggers their audience. And then boom, they come after you. And then so it's like, oh, these are bots. No, it's not always going to be bots. That's just how it is, because people are being radicalized and sort of like they're forming gangs online, right? So you used to have like I mean, you still have gangs in real life, but these are like online gangs. Like some of them are not, I don't know, some of them are audiences, some of them are not audiences. Some people call them cults, some people whatever. But it is a reality. That's how the online space is like. So you need to actually protect your mind and don't just react to every single thing that just comes or that you hear. But the moment you see something, like take time, pause, write in your journal, say, okay, why am I feeling this? Okay, what's going on? Okay, I need to do something about this, right? Reflect on it. Okay, so that's our key focus, or that was my key focus.